games you're about to watch are on the top of that list. From sunny Southern California, it's time for Fox Saturday Baseball.
It is all about power today in Southern California as we welcome you to Angel Stadium on a beautiful Saturday afternoon for Major League Baseball and Fox as the Tigers take on the Angels. And hello to everybody, Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Carlson. Eric, you've been a part of many All-Star games here with Fox. In this game here today, we kind of have our own All-Star game.
Well, we really do. And I think yesterday, for me, being around the batting cage, watching these guys hit, I felt like a little kid again. Watching the Angels, you got Mike Trout, who arguably had the best rookie season in Major League history last year, Josh Hamilton, an MVP award winner, and Albert Pujols, one of the greatest hitters of our generation. Then you go to the other side. TORII Hunter's having a great start to the season. Prince Fielder, American League Player of the Week, and then, of course, this man right here, come on, Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown Award winner. For me, the best hitter in all of baseball right now.
Well, it has been a very tough week for everyone across the country with what happened in Boston and West Texas. And it's also been a tough week for us here at Fox Sports. As on Tuesday, the sports world lost a broadcasting giant. Pat Summerall's less is more approach allowed our imaginations to fill in the blanks. He was the voice that defined the NFL on television for generations of fans. Pat Summerall was 82 years old. Weather here in Anaheim, 77 degrees as the Tigers and Angels get ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series. And the Taco Bell starting lineup first for the Tigers. Sometimes you got to live Moss. Austin Jackson will lead things off and play center. TORII Hunter bats second and right. Miguel Cabrera The Triple Crown winner will bat third and play third. Prince Fielder will clean things up at first. Victor Martinez, after missing last year, will DH and bat fifth. Andy Dirksen left, bat sixth. Johnny Peralta, the shortstop, will bat seventh. Alex Avila, catcher, will bat eighth. And Omar Infante, the second baseman, will bat ninth. The starting pitcher for the Angels is Garrett Richards, filling in once again for Jared Weaver. And now the Own Your Space pitcher profile, brought to you by Avis.
Well, a hard thrower. He's got to really concentrate on keeping the top of this Detroit lineup off of the bases, specifically Jackson and Hunter. Keep the defense involved. That means throw strikes. Let your defense help you out. Don't try to strike out everybody so they're not just standing around out there.
The Angels defensive lineup is brought to you by Scotts, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. In the outfield from left to right, you've got Mike Trout, Peter Bourjos, and Josh Hamilton. Around the horn in the infield at first base is Mark Trumbo, Howie Kendrick at second, Brendan Harris at shortstop, Luis Jimenez is at third, and Chris Iannetta is behind the plate. The opening pitch is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds. Austin Jackson will lead things off here against the young right-hander Garrett Richards. What a day for baseball. Wow. And the first pitch fastball is in there for a strike at 95. Jackson on the season off to a very good start. 333, a home run, 6 RBIs. That's coming off a season when he hit 300 with 16 homers. Fouls it back. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, this is a guy that historically has struck out a number of times. Right now, at least at the beginning of the season, he has limited that ratio. That's allowed him to be more successful. A guy with great speed, hits the ball hard as well.
The 0-2 from Richards. Goes to the breaking ball, and that's slowing outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Torii Hunter, the former Angel, is on deck. The 1-2 from Richards. Fastball fouled back. We'll do it again at 1-2. Jim Leyland, the manager of the Tigers, led them to the World Series in 2006 and again last year. Won a World Series with the Marlins back in 1997. Another 1-2, ground ball, diving stop by Jimenez at third base, and there's one away. Nice play. And now Torii Hunter, the former Angel, will walk to the plate.
Number 48, right fielder Torii Hunter.
A late arriving crowd here at Angel Stadium. That's following last night's game. But the fans who are here, another standing ovation for Torii Hunter. What has Torii Hunter done since signing a 2-year deal with Detroit? That's what he's done. Takes the first pitch low and outside. 4-18, a home run, 9 RBIs. 12-game hitting streak. He's hitting 15 of 16 this year. Popped up in his shallow right. Late break for Hamilton, able to recover and make the catch. 2 away. Mike Scioscia, the manager of the Angels, his 14th season here. Won the World Series back in 2002.
I think when you talk managers too, that one of the best combinations as far as has the respect of his players and very cerebral.
And now Miguel Cabrera steps in. Speaking of cerebral, there was the big move last night that was written about in the papers where late in the game he brought in the left-hander to face the right-hander Cabrera. Wano is hit down the left field line. That hook's foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, you talk about that move last night. It is an unconventional move where you have a lefty facing a right-handed hitter, especially with guys on base. But it actually turned out to work out. Cabrera gets a base hit, leaves the bases loaded. Then Burnett is able to induce Fielder to hit into a double play. It turned out to work very well for Mike Scioscia. But he had his reasons.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing. As long as you have a reason and it's thought out, I mean, you may not agree with it, but at least you have thought it out.
1-1 in the air to right field. Hamilton giving chase, slicing towards the line, and that is out of play. It's amazing the type of power that Miguel Cabrera has the other way. That looked like it was just a little flare, and that almost gets out.
Yeah, well, Jim Leland telling us yesterday that he cannot remember a right-handed hitter to demonstrate as much opposite field power as Miguel Cabrera. You know, he likened him to guys left-handed pull hitters. And I brought up the name Mike Piazza, a guy I played alongside, great hitting catcher. But still, he felt like Miguel Cabrera was as good as he's ever seen.
1-2, just missing outside the fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year, the numbers for Cabrera: 330, 44 home runs, 139 RBIs, the first Triple Crown since 1967. And frankly, I don't think he got enough attention and respect for what he did. That was incredible. 2-2 breaking ball. Did he check his swing? He did. 3 balls and 2 strikes. We have the top 2 MVP voters from last year in this game. Vote getters, I should say. Cabrera winning and Trout finishing second. The payoff pitch. Got him. Foul tipped into the mitt of IANNETTA. A 1-2-3 inning work by Garrett Richards. Mike Trout coming up second in the bottom half of the first. By Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. Peter BOURJOS will lead things off. Mike Trout bats second. Albert Pujols will DH and bat third. Josh Hamilton will clean things up. Mark Trumbo in the 5-hole. Howie Kendrick bats 6. Chris IANNETTA will bat 7. Brendan Harris and Luis Jimenez will round out the order. Rick Porcello making his 3rd start of the season. 0-1 with a 5.11 ERA. Now the Own Your Space pitcher profile brought to you by Avis.
Well, the 24-year-old pitches to contact, and that's what he's going to have to do today. Just stay away from the barrel of the bat. Induce a lot of ground balls. Hope they go to his fielders. Watch out for Josh Hamilton. In 10 at-bats, Josh Hamilton has 2 home runs against Rick Porcello.
Peter BOURJOS will lead things off. The speedster. Cabrera and Fielder playing in on the corners. And the first pitch fastball's in there for a strike. BOURJOS on the season, 267, 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. He had 3 home runs all of last year. 0-1, chopper over the head of Porcello. Tough play for Peralta, and it's an infield hit for Bourjos.
Well, nothing you can do with that type of speed when the ball is hit like that. Peralta comes in and has to make a barehanded play. It's almost a do-or-die situation. Not going to beat the speedy Bourjos.
And that brings up Mike Trout. And Trout, you mentioned in the open, Eric, how he had maybe the greatest rookie season of all time. 326, 30 home runs, 83 RBIs, 49 of 55 in stolen bases. And he's off to a pretty good start here in year number 2.
And all of that not playing the first month in the major leagues.
Unbelievable. And oh yeah, we didn't mention the runs that he scored as a rookie. Trout had 129 runs. And look at the company he's in.
I mean, look at those years you're talking about. You're talking about 27, 36, 29, 39. You know, in the modern day era, he stands alone.
2 balls and no strikes here to Trout.
I think if anything, what he's done, though, is he's set a level for himself. So now if he doesn't get to that level, people will say, well, you know, why didn't he have the same type of year? Or they expect him to have an even better year than what he did last year.
2 balls, no strikes here to Trout. And Bourjos on at first base. Gets between the legs of Avila. Bourjos will take second, and he is in there safely. That'll be a wild pitch charged to Rick Porcello.
Well, this ball just gets far enough away where a guy like Bourjos, if he recognizes it, can just take off because of his speed.
And it was a late break by Bourjos, too.
Well, the fact that the catcher had to go away, it wasn't out in front of him, had to go away from second base to grab the ball. Well, Bourjos made the decision to take off.
3 balls, no strike. The count to Trout with Albert Pujols on deck. Taken all the way, takes the fastball, 3-1. This Tigers pitching staff is the only staff in baseball without allowing a first inning run. A runner in scoring position, nobody out, 3-1 the count here to Trout. Changeup, and now it's 3-2. Justin Verlander, he's got a pretty good changeup.
Sad thing is, his changeup's as good as a lot of guys' fastball.
The 3-2. Chopper back up the middle through the hole. Jackson will charge. Bourjos had to hold up. First and third, nobody out here. And Albert Pujols coming up.
Trout does a good job of just protecting. He shoots that ball up the middle. You know, this is the thing, though. Rick Porcello wants ground balls. Jim Leland wants to see him throw ground balls. The caveat is it has to be at somebody. And right now, there have been 2 well-placed ground balls. Porcello finds himself in trouble.
2 ground balls right back up the middle. First and third now for Albert Pujols. And Pujols, the first few days, off to a slow start, certainly picked it up as of late, has it average up over 300, 2 home runs and 10 RBIs.
Well, and he's been dangerous at home this year, hitting over 400.
First pitch curveball missing inside for ball 1. He was 3 for 5 in last night's ball game. First 8 games this year is hitting 227. The last 8 up to 364. Trout takes off. This one catches the leg of Alex Avila. Home plate umpire Paul Emmel calls timeout to go speak with Porcello, give Avila a chance.
I think this ball just fouls off Pujols' bat, hits the ground, and comes up and gets
The catcher here, watch this.
Doesn't feel good.
No. What Porcello has to do right now, too, is minimize the damage here that could potentially happen. You almost concede that runner at third base, but what you don't want to do is give up a crooked number in this first inning, 3 or 4 runs.
And with this lineup the Angels have, you can do that in a hurry. With Hamilton on deck and Trumbo in the hole. In the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. You know, it's funny. You know you've had a good career if when you hit 285, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, 105 RBIs, and 50 doubles, and that's considered a bad year for you.
Yeah, it's telling everybody, yeah, you're on the downswing. You look at these numbers and that he's put up over his career, just phenomenal. Then you look on the other side of the field, Miguel Cabrera is right there as well.
2-1, Trout goes again, and Pujols may have broken his bat. The defensive lineup brought to you by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. In the outfield, Andy Dirksen left, Austin Jackson in center, Torii Hunter in right, Prince Fielder at first base, Omar Infante at second, Johnny Peralta at short, Miguel Cabrera at third, and Alex Avila is behind the plate.
We talk about that defense. There isn't a defense in Major League Baseball that has fewer errors than these Detroit Tigers. They've got 2.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Pujols, first and third, nobody out, bottom half of the first. 2-2, back up the middle again. That's 3 in a row, and that's an RBI single. And Trout will take third base. Three straight hits right back up the middle, and it's 1-0 Angels.
Again, if you're Rick Porcello, you feel I definitely deserve better than this. You know, another ground ball that, again, you're hit a little bit to the left, or excuse me, to his right. You got a ground ball double play. Got 2 outs, 1 run in, but instead you're still in a heap of trouble.
And good base running by Trout, taking the extra base, goes to third. Now you've got Josh Hamilton at the plate, and he swings the first pitch and fouls it back.
Well, and what that really does, too, besides Trout getting to third base, it forces Prince Fielder to hold the runner on at first base. That opens up the hole on the right side for Josh Hamilton to hit through. If there's runners on first and second, Fielder can be back. You see Fielder right now, they're having to hold Albert Pujols.
In the dirt, good stop there by Avila. 2, 3, 4 in the order. They are starting to heat up. You saw what they did in those first 4 games. Look at the last 11. And once these guys get going, if they can give that pitching staff an early lead, start gaining some confidence, could turn things around, as they're just 5-10 on the season so far. Good changeup. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Hamilton. Josh Hamilton signed the big contract in the offseason, came over from Texas. His last year with the Rangers, 285, 43 home runs, 128 RBIs. He was the biggest threat to Miguel Cabrera for that Triple Crown award.
Yeah, what he can do athletically is unparalleled with anybody else in the game.
1-2. Fouled away, third base seats. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, the thing about Josh Hamilton, and really been throughout his career, he can be as hot as anybody, but when he gets into a funk, when he gets into a cold stretch, you know, he can be as bad as anybody.
Can strike out a lot. That's what Porcello needs right now, a strikeout. Another 1-2. Up and in, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, the dangerous thing with Josh Hamilton, though, is he can swing right through a pitch, and you think, oh, okay, well, this is something I can do it again. Next one, he hits 450 feet.
Not a bad year last year either for Hamilton there in those ranks among American League players. Now the 2-2. Goes outside with a changeup. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I almost have to throw a pitch out of the zone right here. And I have to use Hamilton's aggressiveness against him. You know, I'm playing on history right now if I'm Rick Porcello, because I'm thinking there is no way that Josh Hamilton is going to take a walk. He's going to swing right now. So something out of the zone.
3-2. Change up again. Fouled back. Stays 3-2. You mentioned the 2 home runs that Hamilton has against Porcello in his career. The 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up here. Nobody out. Bottom half of the first. 1 run already in on 3 consecutive singles up the middle. The 3-2. Low and inside. Ball 4. Bases loaded here for the Angels. Nobody out, and Mark Trumbo coming up. And that'll bring out pitching coach Jeff Jones to try to settle things down for Porcello.
You know, I think with like Porcello in this situation, that's not a bad pitch to Hamilton. You probably want to make it a bit more enticing. But Jones is out there right now to talk to Porcello, just say, look, you're not pitching that poorly. You had 3 ground balls that combined probably don't make it all the way out to the center fielder. But the real issue is you've got bases loaded right now. 1-0 ball game, and Mark Trumbo at the plate. 1 swing of the bat, it can be 5-0.
Trumbo 1 home run this year. Trout on at third base. Pujols at second. And Hamilton on at first. The Angels trying to jump out to an early lead. They already have a 1-0 lead, trying to extend it here. Trumbo first pitch, swinging line drive to right, drops in front of Hunter. Trout will score. Everybody moves up the base, 2-0. And still nobody out.
This pitch almost down the middle. Trumbo hits it just off the bat. Doesn't really drive it, but places it well enough in front of Hunter.
The 8th RBI of the season for Trumbo, and now Howie Kendrick steps in. Kendrick back up the middle. That's a single. Hamilton being waved around. He will score a 2-run single for Howie Kendrick, and it's 4-0 Angels. And still nobody out.
Well, Howie Kendrick is a guy that Porcello has had a lot of success against, but this is just the way the day is going. Drives his ball up the middle. You see Jackson come up trying to make a strong throw to the plate, unable to get Hamilton.
4-0 already. And now Chris IANNETTA steps in. Drew Smiley begins to throw out there in the bullpen for the Tigers.
IANNETTA loves to swing at the first pitch.
First pitch curveball in their first strike. IANNETTA 273, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs on the season so far. Missing inside with the breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. .25 pitches already here in the inning for Rick Porcello. Going outside, 2-1. The inning began with an infield single by BOURJOS. Trout a single up the middle. Albert Pujols is seeing eye RBI single up the middle. Hamilton walked. Trumbo lined a single to right. Then Howie Kendrick a 2-run single up the middle. And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes here to IANNETTA. A 6.02 ERA in the month of April for Rick Porcello over the course of his career. The 2-2, breaking ball to third. Cabrera goes to second for 1. A 5-4-3 double play as Trumbo moves down to third base, and that's a big, big double play turned by the Tigers.
Well, it is. Obviously, a 4-run deficit is not something that would deter the Tigers, especially with their type of offense and the potential that they have. And it's a big play right there just because, again, you don't want to get it 6 or 7 in the first because, you know, sure, you could battle back, but you're just so deflated as a player.
2 outs, and now Brendan Harris, the shortstop, steps in. Porcello from the windup, and the first pitch fastball's in there for a strike.
Sounds kind of crazy, but that's a big run out there just from a momentum standpoint.
Missing low and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
If Porcello can leave him out there, then feels okay. You know, I 4 runs, it wasn't good. They didn't really hit me all that hard. Bases were loaded. I got out of there just giving up 1 more run. If they get this run in with 2 outs, then it's like, oh man, what a day.
1-1 fouled away. Coming up, we'll have special coverage from Fenway Park as they will sing Sweet Caroline, the first game being played in Boston since the bombings at the Marathon. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers with the families affected. Going to be an emotional scene at Fenway. Another 1-2. Change up, foul tip. Will stay 1-2. Trumbo on at third base. 2 outs, 4 runs in. Another 1-2. Laced foul, watch out. And we'll do it again. And as you mentioned, Porcello really has not pitched poorly here in this inning.
Just hasn't had any bit of luck. And like Jim Leland told us prior to the game, you know, when we asked him what he was looking for from Porcello. A lot of ground balls, and he hoped they'd go right at his fielders.
Another 1-2. Foul tipped. We'll do it again. 8th batter of the inning at the plate, and Harris with Jimenez on deck. And Jimenez is swinging a very hot bat. The 1-2. Curveball just missing the inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the 2-2. Pulled that one at 94, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. .36 pitches already in the inning, with Smiley warming up there in the bullpen. The payoff pitch. Change up, broken back flare to left field. A 2-out RBI single for Harris, and it's 5-0 Angels. You think about the balls that have been hit in this inning, maybe 2 have been hit hard.
That's being generous, I think.
Trumbo,
I mean, Trumbo hit the ball well, and the ground ball up the middle by Kendrick. I thought, you know, but again, Porcello deserves better. But by the same token, The Angels have battled up there. They put the bat on the ball. They've made some things happen.
Luis Jimenez takes the first pitch for a strike.
You know, Brendan Harris, sure, he gets jammed right there, but he had a heck of an at-bat right there. Saw 9 pitches, fouled some off. Got to give him credit.
Kendrick, slow roller down the third base line, and you're just like, you know what? It's not my day if you're Rick Porcello. For more on this Angels offense, let's check in with a third member of our crew, Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Justin, the other aspect of this is that things are looking like they're starting to finally even out for the Angels. They came into this series batting .155 with runners in scoring position. That obviously was not going to last forever, and while some of these hits today aren't exactly hardly struck, it's not as if the luck is against them today.
They are 11 for 18 with runners in scoring position in this series. 5 for 6 here in this first inning. They've batted around. Peter BOURJOS steps in, and he takes the first pitch curveball for a strike. BOURJOS led off with the infield single, moved to second on a wild pitch, scored on the RBI single by Albert Pujols. Another curveball, foul tip, no balls and 2 strikes. Another chopper up the middle, slow roller. Peralta again has to eat it. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Another infield single for BOURJOS. He has 2 infield singles in the inning.
Somebody's got to go find out who has that little doll of Rick Porcello right now, because this is just something. I mean, it's that whole, it rains, it pours, it just, I haven't seen anything like this. I mean, I can see 2, 3, or over a period of a couple innings, but in one inning like this.
The 11th batter of the inning, Mike Trout, now bats with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And Trout bounces that into the dugout of the Angels.
How about BOURJOS has 2 hits this inning and hasn't hit a ball past second base? I mean, and I'm telling you right now, if both of those balls, if you just let them roll, I don't know if they'd both get to the grass in the outfield. And he's got 2 hits. And there's going to be some guys that line out a couple times today. But it's a fair game. It's a fair game. It really is.
Mike Trout has never hit a grand slam. And he takes the breaking ball for a strike, 0-2. And again, we said it before, after the 5-4-3 double play by IANNETTA, Trumbo was on at third. You had Harris at the plate. If you can get out of the inning there, you're thinking, all right, momentum may swing back to us. A broken bat flare to left field, and the inning continues. 5 runs in.
But I will say this, on that broken bat, Brendan Harris did have a very good at-bat. He saw 9 pitches, fouled some off. So, again, while the Angels are getting some breaks and getting lucky, they're making their own luck as well.
The 0-2. Out straight back. Stays no balls and 2 strikes. 45 pitches for Rick Porcello. His career high in an inning is 46, so he will match that here. And he's hoping he matches it and does not set a new record. Two changeup, low and inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 1-2, breaking ball, straightaway center field. Looking up. The first career grand slam for Mike Trout. Tigers face Rick Porcello. Maybe one was hard hit, and then this one was definitely hit well by Trout. A first in his great career, a grand slam, and it's 9-0 Angels. Nine nothing. Angels lead the Tigers. They have scored 14 runs over the last 2 innings against the Tigers as they played at 5 in the 8th last night. The line on Porcello, not good. Some tough luck, some seeing eye singles, and then a grand slam to Mike Trout. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Pujols. Swings over the breaking ball. 1-2. Pujols RBI single, his first time up this inning. Drew Smyly, the left-hander, is the new pitcher. Two-line drive in the left field. Dirks goes over to cut it off. Pujols is going to try for 2. And the throw is wide. A double for Albert Pujols. I guess it doesn't matter who the Tigers throw up there right now.
Well, the Angels are doing it right now. You see Pujols get that extension, drive the ball down the line, as we mentioned, hitting it over a 400 clip here at home. He's thinking 2 all the way. You know, he's running as fast as he can possibly run. I think Andy Dirks thought that he would be going 2 from the get-go. But just because of the score, now the Angels can be more aggressive. They're going to probably, I'm not going to say pour it on, but they're not going to be tentative, that's for sure.
First pitch to Hamilton is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Hamilton walked his first time up. He came around to score on the 2-run single by Howie Kendrick. The Angels had 16 hits last night. They've got 10 in this first inning.
Well, we said it at the top of the show. If you like offense, I just didn't know we were going to get it all in the first inning.
3 balls, no strikes. The count here to Hamilton. Taken all the way, 3-1. Smiley's 3-1. Hamilton in the air to center. That is playable for Austin Jackson. And this first inning will finally come to an end, but not before 9 runs come across on 10 hits, 4 of them on the grand slam by Trout. I wish they all... Only 4 gives you Eco Boost, fuel economy, and a whole lot more. And by Taco Bell, sometimes you gotta live Moss. 9-0. The score here at Angel Stadium as we go to the 2nd inning. Rick Porcello, you gotta feel bad for the kid. I mean, the one mistake he really made was to Trout. Besides that, nothing was hit hard. And now Prince Fielder will dig in against Richards and takes the first pitch blown outside for ball 1. And if you're Richards, you're going to be thinking, all right, this is awesome. I got a 9-run lead. I got to get loose again, though.
Well, the thing is, though, you've just got to go out there. You throw strikes. You pretend like it's a close ball game. Now, you don't get so fine where you're not aggressive. But by the same token, you don't want to go out there and just lob a few over because, again, this is a potent lineup. What you want to do is put down some zeros, take away some time in this game.
2 balls and a strike here to Fielder. Prince Fielder, 328, 4 home runs, 19 RBIs to start this year. Two-one, back up the middle, base hit for Prince Fielder. Time now for the Lowe's Never Stop Improving game break. Here's Matt Vasgersian.
Justin and Eric, the Red Sox first game back at Fenway since their Patriots Day game shortly before the bombing on Monday. David Ortiz 2013 debut tied it. A Salvador Perez triple has reclaimed the lead for the Royals. And Justin and Eric, by the way, your audience will go to Boston for Sweet Caroline a little bit later on this afternoon. Back to you guys in Southern California.
That will certainly be an emotional moment in Boston. They were playing Sweet Carolina ballparks across the country since the bombings on Monday. Now Victor Martinez steps in. No balls and 1 strike to Martinez. I don't know if you noticed, but the Red Sox weren't wearing their typical home white uniforms where it says Red Sox across the chest. They were wearing where it said Boston across the chest. Pretty cool. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Victor Martinez, who played for the Red Sox. Nothing here, top of the second. Justin Kutcher, Eric Karros, and Ken Rosenthal with you here on Fox. Chopper. Nice diving stop by Kendrick. Gets to his feet to throw out Martinez. Fielder goes down to second, but a pretty play by Howie Kendrick.
You see Kendrick makes a nice play right there, keeping the ball in the infield. Gets the out. Trumbo was playing in front of Fielder. You see an all-out dive right here. Fields it cleanly. Gets to his feet, makes a nice play. Again, if you're the Angels, all you're trying to do is just get outs. Move this game along.
Andy Dirks, the left fielder, will step in here against Garrett Richards. Slider. And a little mix-up there with Richards and IANNETTA. Time now for today's 4 keys to the game. Are these the same as when we started this broadcast?
Absolutely not, Justin. With the Tigers, it's 1 at-bat at a time right now. You got to be out here. You've got to play 9 innings. So go out there, 1 at-bat, 1 pitch at a time. The Angels, while you've got the 9-run lead, you still got to approach this like it's a close game until you get to the 5th or 6th inning. What you don't want to do is give the Tigers any type of hope and let them score some runs here in these next 2 or 3 innings.
1-0 to Dirks is down low with a fastball. 2-0. In all honesty, when you're an offensive player and your team is down 9-0 or so in the first inning, what are you thinking?
No, you honest to goodness, you're going up there. You still have to go up there and hit. You're still going to get 3 or 4 at bats regardless of what the score is. Those numbers are going to go on your baseball card. Go out there and make them count. You never know what can happen in this game. You get a couple runs here, a couple runs. This offense is good enough to come back. Will they? Probably not. But is it unheard of? Not at all.
3 balls and no strikes. The count here to Dirks with Fielder at second, 1 away in the second. Taken all the way, 3-1. And this may sound weird because it is 9-0. But this is actually an important inning for Garrett Richards to come out here and put up a 0. Just to keep the momentum on the side of the Angels. Don't give any confidence to this Tigers team.
Right, and that's the whole thing. It's almost like, again, there's no clock in baseball, but you want to burn some time right here. Get it going. You know, knock off the 2nd, 3rd, 4th inning if you're Richards. Put up some zeros.
3-1 pull. Trumbo, nice play at first base. He'll take to the back himself, 2 away as Fielder trots down to 3rd.
Trumbo does a nice job here. He squares the ball up, stays in front of it, and you see it takes a tricky hop at the end. But because he's in front of it, he's able to adjust. Even if he doesn't field it cleanly, he can knock it down as a first baseman, pick it up, and walk on over to first.
2 outs now for Johnny Peralta. Can he come through with a 2-out RBI? And fastball's in there for a strike. The 0-1, breaking ball, no balls and 2 strikes. Don't forget, coming up, we're going to have special coverage of Sweet Caroline from Fenway Park as the Red Sox are playing their first game at home since the bombings on Monday for the Boston Marathon. We'll take you there, maybe get some tissues ready. slider, checked his swing, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Did you see the national anthem at the Bruins game a couple nights ago? When
I did.
The entire place starts singing it. I mean, it's one of those moments where you watch it and you just start tearing up and thinking USA, USA. Curveball pulled to third. Jimenez across the diamond. That will do it here in the second. No runs on 1 hit, 1 man left on. 9-0 Angels lead the Tigers here in the second. Sponsored by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Bottom of the second here in Anaheim, 9-0. Angels lead the Tigers. Mike Trumbo, Howie Kendrick, Chris IANNETTA here in the second to face Drew Smiley. Trumbo had an RBI single in the first, and it was a long bottom half of the first inning. First pitch, fastball's in there, first strike, 0-1. In that first inning, 13 batters came to the plate for the Angels. 9 runs on 10 hits. The inning took 33 minutes and 15 seconds in case you were counting. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, and this is where it gets tough. If you're an Angel hitter, you can't give away at bats. This is where it can be easy to go up there and I'm just going to try and hit one out because of the score.
2 balls and a strike. Don't forget, coming up shortly, we're going to take you out to Fenway Park for a special edition of Sweet Caroline. That's coming up momentarily. 2-1, swings over a slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Smiley's 2-2. Pulled foul. We'll do it again. The Tigers' starting pitchers had not allowed a first inning run coming into this game. 9 in the first in this one. Looks at strike 3, 1 away here in the second.
Smiley makes a nice pitch down and into the righty. My guess the home plate umpire zone is going to widen a bit. It's going to force both teams to swing the bat as well. He should.
Paul Emmel, the home plate umpire. Now Howie Kendrick had a 2-run single in the first. First pitch swing to right field. TORII Hunter goes over to make the catch. They're 2 away. Two outs here in the second. Now let's take you out to a special scene at Fenway Park in Boston for a special edition of Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline. And look who's come out to do it.
On his own and express his love to the people of this city today in person. Would you please welcome Mr. Neil Diamond.
Thank you, Boston. What an honor it is for me to be here today. I bring love from the whole country. Where it began, I can't begin to know it, but then I know it's growing strong. Was in the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. To believe they never would, but now I look at the night and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, it runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when I'm here with you? Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Oh, no, no. All right, we're coming to the last chorus. Need to hear everybody singing. Are you ready? Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe they never would. Yes! Thank you, everybody! Thank you!
Part of a very emotional afternoon of baseball in Boston. Neil Diamond in person to lead the singing of Sweet Caroline. We'll get you back out to your ball game in just a moment. First updates from around the league, including the Mets and Nationals, and Bryce Harper off to a strong start in defense of his Rookie of the Year campaign. His 6th of the year, a 2-run job against Jeremy Hefner. And the Nationals have a 3-0 lead with the Mets, trying to square that series at 1 apiece. This is Melky Cabrera against David Robertson up north in Canada, tying up the Blue Jays with the Yankees. A 3-3 ball game now. That's in the bottom half of the 10th as Cabrera's 2-run single sent it to extra innings. And as far as baseball from Fenway, Sally Perez with an RBI triple against Clay Buchholz. This after David Ortiz had tied the game for Boston the previous half inning. They're in the top of the 8th, actually headed to the bottom half with the Royals on top of the Red Sox 2-1. That's one of 7 games in progress at this hour as we get you back out to Los Angeles and Justin and Eric.
All right, thanks so much, Matt. We're back here in Anaheim. Top of the 3rd, 9-0. The Angels lead the Tigers. Alex Avila, Omar Infante, and Austin Jackson to face Garrett Richards. And the first pitch from Richards, fastball on the outside corner for a strike. We're joined by a member of the Tiger starting rotation, Doug Fister. And Doug, thanks so much for joining us. Just as a starting pitcher, and you see Rick Porcello give up those runs in the first inning, what are you thinking, and what can you say to him to try to help him out?
You know, right now there's not a whole lot to say. I mean, that guy had some terrible, terrible luck. You know, there was probably 2 balls that were hit hard, and you know, he's out there making pitches. He's battling his butt off, and you know, I mean, that's what all you can ask for out of there. I mean, he's making good quality pitches with his sinker, trying to get good contact, get some double play balls rolled up. But unfortunately, you know, the game of baseball, the ball didn't roll our way that inning, and you know, now we're fighting back.
Doug, Eric Karras here. When you're out on the mound and something like that takes place, I'm up here watching. I can't recall ever seeing anything like that take place in one inning. But if you're out there in the mound, how do you approach the next hitter, the next pitch?
You know, that's the only important thing is the next pitch. The pitch at hand is what you really have to focus on. You can't let, you know, however many balls got through or hits or whatever happened before affect what goes on with that pitch. And I think that's the main focus that really comes out as a pitcher. You know, you really have to be able to let those other things go and forget about it.
Tigers are trailing 9-0 here in the 3rd. We're talking with Doug Fister. Doug, what is the mood like in that dugout right now for you guys?
You know, obviously, you know, it's a little bit of a kick in the shorts to come out to a 9-0 deficit in the first. But you know, there was somebody, you know, in the dugout that came in and said, "Hey, if anybody can do it, we can do it. We can come back right now, and we got to do it one at bat at a time." And that's the truth. You know, we come here, we're playing as a team. You know, we bust our butts every day with each other and for each other, and that's the biggest thing. You know, we've got guys from the top to the bottom that aren't giving away at bats. We're going out there and trying to put a good at bat together.
Talk a little bit about this staff. I'm looking at it, the starting rotation. I mean, again, outside of this quirky inning today, has been dynamite all year long. Why?
It's such an honor for me to be a part of this staff. You know, starting from the top with Verlander and going on down with Scherzer and Porcello and Sanchi. You know, everybody goes out there every day trying to, you know, really put up their best performance, you know, and helping the team as much as possible. And I think that's the biggest thing. You know, whether we're in the dugout, whether we're in the clubhouse, before the game, after the game, all the pitchers are trying to pull for one another. We're out here trying to help one another, seeing things. You know, Ver's in there watching video earlier this morning, you know, trying to pick apart a few things. You know, just trying to help one another out. See if we can see him tipping, seeing if there's something that we can add to our game. You know, I mean, there's so many different aspects that we're looking at. You know, just trying to help one another, and that's the team atmosphere that we have here.
2-away here in the 3rd. Austin Jackson now steps in against Richards, and he takes the first pitch fastball inside for ball 1. Just a heads up for our local affiliates, this next break, we'll have a word from our local stations. It is 9-0 here in the top of the 3rd with Jackson at the plate. We're speaking with Doug Fister. Doug, Justin Verlander, we know about his prowess on the golf course. You yourself, you're 6'8". How are you on the basketball court?
You know, I haven't played basketball in a while. The floor is a problem for my knees and my ankles, but you know, I kind of stay away from there for a little bit. But I'd love, you know, once the career's over, to get back in there and start hooping it up a little bit again.
Well, let's hope that's put off for a long time, because you're off to a really good start this year, 3-0.
I appreciate that.
And it's fun watching you pitch, and we thank you for taking the time here today to talk with us.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
That one just ricocheted off of Chris IANNETTA and caught Austin Jackson in the face. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes here to Jackson with 2 outs in the third. Garrett Richards making the start in place of Jared Weaver. This is the 3rd straight year he has been called upon to start in place of Richards, of Weaver. 2-2 fouled away. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes. What was your best sport besides baseball?
Basketball, believe it.
Was it?
I enjoyed basketball. Played it in high school. Liked it a lot. Physically couldn't compete though.
Jackson goes down swinging, 3 strikeouts for Richards. It is 9-0. We'll return to Anaheim after a word from your local Fox station. Back to Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Chevrolet. Luis Jimenez will lead things off here in the third for the Angels against Drew Smiley, and takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Jimenez, an infield single his first time up, came around to score in the grand slam by Mike Trout. Going inside with a slider, 1 ball and 1 strike. One is up high with a fastball, 2 balls and a strike. Jimenez came in batting .474 this year. 2-1, fouled straight back, 2-2.
He's played really well. I mean, obviously the offense is ridiculous, but defensively he's done a nice job. Saw a diving play earlier today, made a few last night as well.
Holds off the protective fence right there, and that's when the players are saying, you know what, I'm a fan of this fence now. When you played, they didn't have those.
most stadiums.
No, and they had, they've got the benches up there. I think they like the fences, not for the protection, though, just something to lean on.
Alex Avila got in a follow through. He's taken some hits already today. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count here to Jimenez. Smiley's 2-2. Pulled foul again off the screen.
I got to believe there's got to be some movement over there. If I'm sitting up there, I'm going to make the cerebral decision to move on down and get out of the way. Some guys are going to stay right there and say, "Oh, it can't happen a third time, can it?"
C.J. Wilson's a pretty cerebral guy too, and there he goes.
Yeah, he left.
Oh, he's back
with a mask.
He's a lefty, though, so I want to see what he can do trying to catch with the offhand.
Forget it. I mean, it's just like the guy with the sunglasses that takes him the outfield, doesn't put him on. He brings up a mask and a glove and then just sets him on the bench. I mean, what are you going to do with that?
2-2, got him swinging, and Avila will throw down a first, strikeout 2-3. Let's check back in with Ken.
Well, Justin, I spoke to some of the Red Sox last night, and they could not wait to get on the field at Fenway today. David Ross, who was a starting catcher, told me he had never been this excited to play in a regular season game. And Johnny Gomes said he expected it to be a once-in-a-lifetime feeling for fans and players alike. Gomes said he expected emotional roller coaster, that sadness, obviously, for those who were lost and those who were hurt, and at the same time, a celebration that the suspects were caught. In situations like this, we remember after 9/11, all sports teams, all sports can do is provide a measure of solace, and certainly we saw that today.
And BOURJOS grounds one in the hole. Peralta unable to handle it. And that will be a hit for Peter BOURJOS, his 3rd hit of the game. But Ken, you're absolutely right. You think back to 9/11, that first game being played at Shea Stadium, Mike Piazza with that home run off of Steve Carsey. What a moment that was, and just, I think, to the 2001 World Series and President Bush throwing out the first pitch and throwing a strike. I mean, just goosebumps all around.
Yeah, a lot of memories from that season, and Mike Piazza will tell you that was his defining moment, really, as far as his career, is being able to be in that situation and to hit that home run and what it meant.
Mike Trout steps in, his last time up. Hit his first grand slam of his career. By the way, Peter BOURJOS is 3 for 3 with 3 infield singles.
It's a beautiful thing if you're Peter BOURJOS.
The top 3 hitters for the Angels are a combined 7 for 7. Trout in the air to center field. Jackson looking up into the sun. Jones in the back will make the catch, make it now 7 for 8. 2 away here in the 3rd. Tonight, the UFC returns to Fox as lightweight champion Benson Henderson puts his title on the line against top contender Gilbert Melendez, highlighting a full night of epic fights. Henderson versus Melendez for the lightweight title. Fox UFC Saturday is live and free tonight, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Two outs now for Albert Pujols. An RBI single, a double. And the first pitch changeup is in the dirt for ball 1. Smiley's 1-0. Foul back, 1 ball and 1 strike. Pujols has been hobbled with a foot injury. Ken, what more do you have on him?
Well, I spoke with Albert before the game, Justin, and he said that he was definitely feeling better, that it isn't as painful as it was earlier in the season. And we saw that on the double. That was the best I've seen Albert Pujols run in quite some time. Earlier this season, it looked like he couldn't move at all, but much different today.
And this is a guy in Pujols who's been a good base runner over the course of his career, would steal bases. as he launches one high in a shallow center field. Austin Jackson again looking up into that blue sky, there to make the catch. So no runs on a hit. One man left on. Due up for the Tigers. 2, 3, 4. Can they get on the board? They trail 9-0. Go. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Newport Beach, not a bad place to be right now. Not a bad place to be tonight for dinner, maybe. Top of the fourth, TORII Hunter. Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, 2, 3, 4 in the order against Garrett Richards. And Richards delivers the first pitch fastball for a strike. Hunter flew out to right field his first time up. Inside, 1-1. Hunter spent 5 seasons here in Anaheim. An average year for him, 286, 26 home runs, 86 RBIs. And because of that, he got a standing ovation last night in his first trip back. 2-1. How about 3 things you need to know about Mr. Hunter? Not a bad person to idolize. Bo Jackson helped fund a youth softball field in Orange County. In his Twitter handle, he is one of the nicest guys in all of baseball. I saw him yesterday come into the ballpark, was saying hello to all the clubhouse attendants, the security guards. Everyone's so happy to see him come back.
Well, I think more than anything, he makes everybody he meets feel special. You know, he treats everybody the same way. He's a superstar. He's just a solid guy.
2-2, ground ball to shortstop. Brendan Harris. 1 away. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a game break.
Justin, back to Boston, where an already emotional scene just got even more interesting. Kelvin Herrera trying to wrap things up for Kansas City with a 1-run lead. 2 out in the 8th. Daniel Nava connects on a 3-run home run to put the Red Sox up 4-2. However, Lorenzo Cain has just homered in the 9th against Andrew Bailey, and it's a 1-run lead for the Red Sox at Fenway. Back to Justin and Eric in Southern California.
Wow, what a game there in Boston. Miguel Cabrera fouls the first pitch back, 0-1, and kind of like the Yankees and the Mets back in 2001, you get the feeling that everybody around baseball, besides the folks in Kansas City, are pulling for the Red Sox today.
Well, sure, as you mentioned, it's emotional. It brings the country together. You know, the unfortunate thing in all of this, though, is that it takes incidents like this to bring everybody together. You know, if there was some way that we could garner all this emotion, this feeling, this love for one another, and bottle it and maintain it, that'd be something special.
Cabrera goes down swinging for the second time in this game. We do want to apologize for the technical difficulties we just had. I believe we have those straightened out now. There are 2 outs here in the 4th, and Prince Fielder coming up. But Garrett Richards worked a 1-2-3 top half of the first inning. Got a nice play by Luis Jimenez to open up the ball game. And really, he was given a 9-run lead in the bottom half of the first, but since then he's been looking good. A 1-2-3 third, the first 2 here in the 4th, and the first pitch curveball here to Prince Fielder.
Well, I think more impressive than anything is going after the hitters. He's not allowed anybody on base as far as via walks. You know, and again, to hit against a guy like Richards right now, it's tough because he can do anything he wants. Got a 9-run lead. He can be aggressive. He can throw pitches in certain counts where he normally wouldn't do it. You know, as a hitter, you're just up there going, all right, please just make a mistake and hang one.
No balls and 2 strikes here to Fielder, who has the only hit of the game for the Tigers. Two spoiled foul. Richards, a first-round pick back in 2009 out of the University of Oklahoma, was 4-3 last year with a 4.69 ERA. The 0-2. Got Fielder swinging, but that gets away from IANNETTA. It's going to be one of those weird strikeout wild pitch, and Fielder's on at first base.
You see Richards makes a great pitch right there. Fielder obviously offers at it, but most impressive for me in that at-bat right there, Fielder busted his buns down to first base. I mean, he was hustling, he was moving, and very easily in a 9-0 ball game, it's like, struck out, just jog it on down to first. This is a reason why Prince Fielder is one of the top players in the game. Plays every day, plays hard, only missed 1 game since 2009. He's a superstar.
2 outs. Fielder on at first, and Victor Martinez at the plate. And the first pitch is low and inside for a ball. Prince Fielder is the only man to reach base here in this game against Garrett Richards. No runs on 1 hit, no errors for Detroit. 9 runs on 12 hits, no errors for the Angels. Big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Martinez.
You see Trumbo playing in front of Fielder over at first base. Not really sure why. I mean, again, it's a 9-0 ball game, but play behind. Give yourself some room here. There's 2 outs. Fielder's not going to steal, and Martinez isn't going to bunt.
Big curveball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Who makes that decision? Do you, as the first baseman, make the call, or do you look inside?
I think you eventually make the call because you're the one deciding where you're going to put your feet. You know, so you want to play back, you should play back. The only reason I can think him wanting to play in front is just because he wants to field it off the grass.
1-2, and he gets Martinez swinging. So 3 strikeouts in the inning for Richards. He's got 6 on the day, and his team leads by 9. It is 9-0 Angels over Tigers. Josh Hamilton to lead things off here against Drew Smiley. First pitch swings the slider. No balls and 1 strike. Hamilton is 0 for 1. Walked, scored a run, and flew out to center field his last time up. No balls and 2 strikes. Back-to-back sliders. Drew Smiley, the second pitcher of the game for the Tigers. Rick Porcello started the game. Went 2/3 of an inning. 9 hits, 9 runs, all earned. 1 walk, no strikeouts. One ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2. Out on the second deck. Hamilton off to a slow start this year after signing a big contract in the offseason with the Angels. The 1-2. Again fouled away. How much is there when you hear people say sign a big contract, trying to prove that he's worth it, and you start pressing? Is there truth to that?
Well, there may be a little bit, but I think more than anything, it's just the change in surroundings, becoming familiar with living out here in Southern California.
And that's a strikeout, 2-3 for the first out. We spoke with the manager for the Angels, Mike Scioscia, asked him to explain that first inning with those seeing eye singles and then the grand slam.
I think it was exactly what you said. We had a lot of seeing eye hits, had some clutch hits with guys in scoring position, and then obviously Mike broke it open.
Mike, when you get a lead like that, what do you say to your pitcher, either as a manager or as a catcher, to make sure that he stays the course?
EK, you're playing a 1-run game. That's what we're telling our guy. You know, you got a tight game, pitch your game, get in the zone, do all the things you had in your game plan, and keep that focus and see how the game evolves. But I think you definitely don't want a pitcher to just get out of his rhythm. You want to keep that edge, keep playing ball, and keep pitching. That's what we hope to do.
We've seen an offensive explosion early today, but what for you is the most important factor for this ball club to be successful this year?
Well, starting pitching without a doubt, and then having our bullpen evolve to hold leads. You know, we need to control the defensive end of the game much better than we have the first couple of weeks, and we're very confident we will.
Mike, thanks so much.
All right, guys.
9-0 the score here. Mike Trumbo at the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike, but it's that starting pitching, and you know, they got the 1-2-3 inning in the top half of the first, and then they come out and they erupt for that 9 spot in the bottom half of the inning, and since then Garrett Richards, he's been doing what he's supposed to do.
Well, it obviously takes the pressure off of your starting pitcher when you can score like that, but you know, the reality is you're not going to have offensive innings like that. The starting pitching, they just haven't been consistent. They're going to have to control other teams. They're going to have to give quality starts. You can't always play from behind. I don't care how good your offense is. If you are constantly playing catch up, it's going to be a long year.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The count here to Trumbo.
And remember, this is a markedly different staff than what they had last year. Santana gone, Herron gone, Greinke gone, Weaver right now on the disabled list.
1-2, popped up, foul into the seats on the first base side. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Trumbo. Jared Weaver looking out. I thought Jared Weaver, when he signed his contract extension last year, one of the best lines, said, look, I love it here. I'm from here. I have enough money for me, my kids, and their kids. I want to be here. Didn't need to hit the open market.
No, and one of the things that, sure, he gives up some money because he could have made more elsewhere, but what he does buy is he buys the stability. He buys the familiarity. Those things you can't really put a price on.
Another 1-2. Trumbo to center field. Austin Jackson has to move over a couple of steps to his right, back to make the catch. 2 outs, and let's check back in with Ken.
Well, Justin, getting back to the Angels and their starting pitching, Eric mentioned how different they are. And what they did in the offseason was decline expensive options on Dan Haren and Irvin Santana. Then they chose Josh Hamilton over Zach Greinke in free agency. And they didn't trade either Mark Trumbo or Peter BOURJOS for a starting pitcher. Instead, they acquired 3 guys: Jason Vargas, Tommy Hanson, Joe Blanton. Combined, they're making less than $19 million. And what the GM, Jerry DiPoto, thought is that they were going to get reliability from all of them. And also, he liked the fact that they were fly ball pitchers in this park with this outfield. Well, the criticism of that is that these guys don't have big enough stuff to succeed in the American League, and that's the question the Angels will face going forward.
Yeah, Ken, Eric and I were talking about this just before during breakfast, and that decision last year to allocate that money to Josh Hamilton versus to Zach Greinke. You have Greinke in this rotation. It's very different when you have Greinke and you've got C.J. Wilson there as your top 2 guys, and Jared Weaver, as your top 3 guys. A 1-2-3 inning worked here by Drew Smiley, and we have played 4 in Anaheim, 9-0 Angels. For the first 4 innings, he'll face Andy Dirks, Johnny Peralta, and Alex Avila here in the 5th, leading 9-0. And the first pitch fastball's in their first strike. The Boston Red Sox winners today over Kansas City, so they hear Neil Diamond sing Sweet Caroline, and also Dirty Water for the victory. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Dirks, who grounded out to first base his first time up. Daniel Nava, that turned out to be game-winning home run in the 8th inning. What a moment at Fenway Park. Two balls and a strike here to Dirks. Outside now 3-1. Andy Dirks last year in 88 games hit .322 with 8 home runs and 35 RBIs. You're kind of going through, you're like, Andy Dirks at .322? Wow. Fouls it back. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he beat out Quentin Berry for that left field job. Berry getting a lot of time last year, especially in the postseason. Dirks is solid. He's just a solid player. He can be a supporting member of this offense.
3-2, grounder back to Richards, checks the glove. Yep, I got it, and there's the out. Well, the MLB Fan Cave is back. This week, Arizona Diamondbacks Heath Bell, Matt Reynolds, and team president and CEO Derek Hall, as well as Baltimore Orioles Chris Davis and Darren O'Day, visited the MLB Fan Cave to hang out with the cave dwellers. Check out all the latest cave happenings and videos at MLBFancave.com. You can follow them at MLB Fan Cave on Twitter, and you can also like them on Facebook.
Looked like a lot of fun out there. Derek Hall, team president of the Diamondbacks, one of the best in the game.
First pitch to Peralta is fouled back. No balls and 1 strike, and that trickles down to a fan in the second row, and that's the type of foul ball that you want to catch. Not going to hurt the hands. You got the souvenir. You can tell your friends about the story. Oh, you should have seen that ball come to me. No balls and 2 strikes. Peralta grounded out to third base his first time up. Grounded to third again. Jimenez again across the diamond. Low throw, dug out by Trumbo. 2 away. Celebrate the craft of baseball. For your chance to win a Chevrolet Impala and a trip to the MLB All-Star Game, visit ChevyBaseball.com. Two outs, and Alex Avila will step to the plate. Avila struck out his first time up, one of 6 strikeout victims in the game for Garrett Richards. First pitch swinging, fouls it away. See what I tell you, that one was much harder, even with a glove. I never caught a foul ball at all the games I've ever been to.
I believe that. I've seen that lack of athletic ability.
Ground ball to second base. Kendrick goes to a knee, keeps it in front, recovers in time, and a 1-2-3 inning work by Richards. We head to the bottom half of the 5th. That fan's happy. It's 9-0 Angels. Angels Stadium. 9-0. Angels lead the Tigers. Bottom half of the 5th inning. And apparently Eric Karros wants to sit outside for the rest of this game.
About 20 years ago, possibly.
Chris IANNETTA will lead things off here against Drew Smyly. First pitch swinging. No balls and 1 strike. Drew Smyly's done a nice job since coming in to relieve Porcello in the first. Giving up a couple of doubles, an infield single, 3 strikeouts. Fastball in the outside corner, no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he has, but you don't want to get too excited. He has done a nice job, but the Angel hitters, they're being a bit more aggressive. They're swinging at pitches. Again, the difficult thing when you're ahead like this, if you're the Angels, is not to give away at bats, because the intensity isn't there, the adrenaline isn't there. You have to create it yourself as you get to the box.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to IANNETTA. He doubled his last time up. Pulls it foul, stays 1-2. Kind of speaking to that, in that first inning, the Angels, they were 10 for 12. They put up the 9 spot. Since then, they're just 2 for 11.
Right, and again, it's that intensity has been taken away. Look, at the reality is there isn't a lot of electricity in a 9-0 ball game. But again, you still have to go out. You have to play. You're going to have to be here.
The 2-2 from Smyly. Soft line drive, 1 hopper to Peralta at shortstop. 1 away here in the 5th. Fox Sports sends our sympathies to everyone affected by this week's tragedies, both in Boston and West Texas. Please support onefundboston.org as those that were affected in Boston. One away now for Brendan Harris. He's 1 for 2. An RBI single back in the first. And he lined out to first in the second. First pitch swinging, pops one up, shallow center field. Jackson again looking straight up into that high sky, and 2 away. Tomorrow's Sprint Cup Series racing continues on Fox as Daytona 500 champion Jimmy Johnson will look for his 3rd career victory in Kansas. Fox Sports coverage of the Sprint Cup Series racing, the STP 400, begins tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Two away now for Luis Jimenez, who's 1 for 2. Singled, scored a run, struck out his last time up. Bottom half of the 5th inning, Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros and Ken Rosenthal here from Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Good off speed pitch, 1 ball and 1 strike. Lone inside, 2-1. Popped up, foul, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Angels won last night by the score of 8-1. Tomorrow, it'll be Doug Fister against C.J. Wilson in the 3rd game of this series.
Should be a good pitching matchup. Doug Fister really throwing the ball well this year.
So far this series, it has been all Angels. The Tigers last night stranded a lot of runners in scoring position as timeout as a beach ball. I thought the beach was a little bit away from here.
Southern California, you can guarantee there are going to be some beach balls during the game. Only the first one we've seen today.
So you're saying you think there'll be more?
just said that's only the first one we've seen today.
2-2, got him chasing the slider. A 1-2-3 inning work by Smiley. That's 4 strikeouts for him, 8 in a row, and it's 9-0 LA of Anaheim. Your space, and by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. We go to the 6th here at Angel Stadium. 9-1-2 in the order for Detroit as they trail 9-0. Garrett Richards to face Omar Infante, who flew out to right field his first time up. And the first pitch fastball misses low and inside for ball 1.
You know, the other thing, too, if you're a Detroit Tiger hitter and you're having to face Garrett Richards, it's just not a comfortable at-bat. Ball's moving all over the place, 95, 96, ground out to second base. You know, it's not one of those things where you go up there, he's going to throw you a changeup, you have hittable pitches, constant movement. Throwing a very, very good ball game.
He's allowed just 1 hit. Only 2 runners have reached base. It was Prince Fielder back in the 2nd, and then he reached on the strikeout wild pitch in the 4th. That's it. Austin Jackson is 0 for 2. And the first pitch is low and outside for ball 1 for Moore and Garrett Richards. Let's check back in with Ken Rosenthal.
Justin, when we were in Washington last week, I spoke with Braves reliever Jordan Walden, former Angel, and he said, hey, Garrett Richards should have been in their rotation all along. Now, Walden is biased. It's his former teammate and his friend, but it seems that Garrett Richards can only get in the Angels rotation when something happens with Jeff Weaver. 2 years ago, Weaver gets suspended for throwing at the Tigers' Alex Avila. Last year, Weaver had a back injury, and this year, Weaver with the fractured left elbow. Maybe now Richards can stay on his own merits.
Well, he's looking good in this one. And the breaking ball misses 2 balls and 1 strike. On that last foul ball, TORII Hunter in the on-deck circle, he was almost taken out. That ball may have skimmed him. Like if he has sunflower seeds in that back pocket, they may be cracked. I'm amazed how more guys in the on-deck circle don't get hit.
No, well, you got to always stay alert. You got to be watching what's going on. Try to position yourself where you won't be in line of a foul ball.
Going outside now, a full count here to Austin Jackson. 3-2 to Jackson. Chopper foul. We'll do it again at 3-2. I was impressed with Garrett Richards yesterday, speaking to him and just his approach to this team. You know, he talked about, yeah, we go over scouting reports, but ultimately I got to go out there and pitch my game, pitch to my strengths, and figure out what's working, what's not working, and go from there.
Well, and that's taking responsibility. He's got the ball. He's on the mound. He makes the ultimate decision.
3-2. Got him swinging strikeout number 7 for Garrett Richards. And now TORII Hunter, who is alive after that foul ball, comes to the plate after spending 5 years out here in Anaheim. 2 All-Star appearances, 2 Gold Glove awards, 105 home runs, 432 RBIs, a couple of incredible catches, more than a couple. And he was a fan favorite and still is a fan favorite. And the first pitch fastball is outside. Time for the Ace Hardware Helpful Player Profile, brought to you by Ace, the helpful place. Those were his numbers with the Angels after signing that 5-year deal, coming over from the Minnesota Twins. Fouls it back. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Very well respected. Adds a lot to the clubhouse, to his teammates. I guess more than anything, if you're a manager with TORII Hunter, you don't have to worry about it. You can pencil him in every day. Going to be consistent. Going to counsel the younger players.
I thought it was a great move for the Tigers to sign him in the offseason for a couple of reasons. One, great defense in right field, good presence in the clubhouse, lengthens that batting order, but also can mentor Austin Jackson in center field. Who better a mentor than that guy? 1-2. Did he go? The appeal to first base. And Bruce Dreckman says he did not go. 2-2. I mean, you've got a Gold Glove winner, a great guy as a role model now for Austin Jackson. Not that Jackson needs all that much help in center field. 2-2, ground ball in the hole. Harris, long for across. Brendan Harris in the hole, a long throw. Trumbo helps him out. Another 1-2-3 inning work by Richards.
Blue Jays after New York scored twice in the top of the 11th. Mariano Rivera finished things in the bottom half. The Yankees have made it 2 straight in Toronto to stay 2 back of first place Boston, who saw an emotional ending to an emotional day. Andrew Bailey hung on, stranding the go-ahead runs in the 9th to record his 3rd save. Daniel Nava's 3-run 8th inning home run, the difference. The Red Sox win their first game back at Fenway since the tragic events earlier in the week. We send you back to Anaheim and Justin and Eric.
All right, thanks, Matt. Back here in Anaheim, 9-0. The Angels lead the Tigers. Peter Bourjos will lead things off against Smiley. He takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. A new right fielder in the game now for the Tigers. It is Don Kelly. Replaces TORII Hunter. Bourjos 3 for 3 with 3 infield singles. If he goes 4 for 4 with 4 infield singles, to me, that's a first.
If he goes 4 for 4 with 4 infield singles, he ought to go looking for wallets, because this is just his day.
No balls and 2 strikes here to Bourjos. 2 runs scored as well.
But Bourjos is a guy that just needs to make contact. Talked about his speed, as good as anybody out in the field today. The problem is consistent contact.
In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. True Smiley since coming in for Rick Porcello. 3 hits over 4 1/3. No runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Ryan Villarreal is warming up in the pen there for the Tigers. On the inside corner, got him looking. A strikeout. Number 5 for Smiley. Ken, what do you have for us on TORII Hunter?
Actually, I was going to talk about Jared Weaver. We're going to check on TORII Hunter. First of all, I want to apologize for Jared for calling him Jeff. And also, I want to update everyone on how he's doing. He had an x-ray yesterday on that fractured left elbow. It's coming along. He's going to start playing catch, he hopes, on Monday. But it's a tricky injury, even though it's to his non-throwing arm. Because, Eric, you can probably explain this better than anyone. If you start messing with that arm and then compensate and obviously affects the other arm, the actual throwing arm, that could be a problem. So the Angels are going to be very careful. The injury will be 2 weeks old as of Monday. The original timetable, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, well, and Kenny, when you're talking about that, I know exactly what you mean. It's all, the injury is in the same body. It's still to Weaver. So if he's got some pain or discomfort in that left elbow, he'll do something mechanically to compensate for that. What that does is that puts more stress on some other body part. Then that's where the injury can arise.
This is the injury back on April 7th against the Rangers. Mitch Moreland right back up the middle. Weaver fell awkwardly on that non-throwing arm. Suffered a non-displaced radial head fracture in that left elbow.
You know, injuries, they come 2 ways, by fatigue or an unpredictable movement. That's an unpredictable movement. And when I mean fatigue, I don't mean, oh, I'm just tired. I mean, it's constant stress on a particular area of the body.
Albert Pujols steps in with 2 outs. And speaking of non-predictable, you never know if I throw it down to Ken, if I'm throwing it down for what he wants to talk about. I could throw a changeup, I could throw a curveball. You just never know.
You're versatile, man. You're versatile.
No, he's the one who's versatile. He handled that beautifully.
He did. I think, did you guys practice that prior to the game?
No.
You guys spent a lot of time together yesterday talking to people, you know.
It's what we do. We're 2 short guys. We got to stay together.
Oh, here we go.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Pujols. Foul back our way. Stays 1-2. Albert Pujols is 2 for 3, a single, a double, an RBI, and a run scored in this one. 1-2 is pulled foul. Sound like a broken bat. Kudos to the bat boy. That was about as fast as I've ever seen a new bat being brought out.
Well, and if you're not fast, you're not going to be a bat boy for long. You got 1 or 2 things to do. It's not just like the old days, eating sunflower seeds and chewing gum, and got to work.
Another 1-2. Got him swinging. A 1-2-3 inning work by Smiley. He has struck out 6 in relief. We'll return to Anaheim after a word from your local Fox station. Baseball presented by Chevrolet. We go to the 7th inning of a 9-0 ball game. Angels scored 9 runs, all coming in the first. And Miguel Cabrera will dig in against Garrett Richards. Cabrera 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Richards starts him off with a slider, 0-1. Ball and 1 strike. Garrett Richards faced the Tigers back on July 17th of last year. They won 13-0. He threw 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts and 4 walks. Today, he's done even better. Until now, a fly ball to right field. Hamilton back, looks up, off the wall. And Cabrera will trot in as second base with a leadoff double.
Well, we talked about Cabrera's opposite field power. This ball almost on the inner half of the plate. Lets it travel deep. Just drives it out to right field. A couple more feet and that thing's over the wall. See Hamilton play it well. That's where that high wall out there hurts you as a hitter.
3rd double of the year for Cabrera brings up Prince Fielder. First time since the 2nd inning that the Tigers have had a player in scoring position. Fielder fouls it back. Fielder has the only other hit in the game here for Detroit. Missing inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cabrera's a jovial guy.
Personable.
very impressed with him.
Spoke with us for a while yesterday. Greeted us this morning, too, in the clubhouse.
Down low, IANNETTA able to keep it in front of him somehow, some way.
You know, we asked him yesterday, we were talking about home runs he's hit, you know, in the World Series and the playoffs, and we asked him his most memorable home run, and he said it, the 2003 home run he hit in Game 7 of the NLCS in the first inning as a member of the Florida Marlins, a 3-run shot against the Chicago Cubs, Kerry Wood. Marlins went on to win the series and then go on to defeat the Yankees in the World Series.
Down low, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Well, you see Miguel Cabrera right here, and you're talking about where he makes contact right there. Look at that back elbow right there. It's bent. That is extension. That is what you want when you hit the ball. That's where you're at your strongest point. You know, people always think extension is both arms straight out. That's where you end up, but when you're making contact, you want that back elbow tucked.
Fielder hits it into the shit as Kendrick is on the outfield grass. And going down to third base is Cabrera. One away, runner on third in a 9-0 game. Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros here. And Eric, it was all coming in that first inning, and I think you and I both agree that we had never seen anything like that. The bad luck for Rick Porcello with those little dinkers, seeing eye base hits, and then, of course, the grand slam by Trout.
Yeah, I mean, really, Rick Porcello had no luck. A lot of ground balls, but you've got to give the Angels credit. They battled and battled, and Mike Trout gets the credit for the big grand slam. But for me, the at-bat of that inning was Brennan Harris. I mean, he had a great at-bat, ended up fighting off a pitch, extended the inning, allows Trout to hit a grand slam. What could have been a 4-0 first inning ended up being a 9-0 first inning. Really, for me, because of the at-bat Brendan Harris had against Rick Porcello.
And since then, Garrett Richards has looked good. Has given up just 2 hits in this game. Another beach ball. You are right. You said there'd be more.
That's 2. It's 2, and we still have 3 innings to go.
I should have trusted you. You're a Southern California guy. You know this area. One changeup is inside and low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, Victor Martinez, for me, is going to be big throughout this year for the Detroit Tigers. He has not started to hit yet. They're really going to have to get production from him because, you know, I understand the 1-2 punch of Cabrera and Fielder, and you have to pitch to one of them, but at some point, you know, you're going to just choose to do what you can with those two, and Victor Martinez is going to be the guy that is going to dictate what happens with this club.
Swing to the top of 1. Another strikeout. That's the 8th of the game for Richards, which ties his career high. Here is today's Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. And it is Garrett Richards. Look at those numbers for him today.
The big one for me, the 0 walks. I mean, granted, he got the great lead, but he's gone after hitters. He's been aggressive. He's got his fielders back in the dugout. Hasn't had any long innings. And he's got good enough stuff where if he just throws it over the plate, he's got so much movement that he can get away with it.
Again, he's making the start in place of Jared Weaver for the 3rd straight year. And speaking to him yesterday, I got a chance to ask him when he made his first start of his major league career was against the Yankees. And I said, was there a time, any time, where you kind of looked up and you were like, oh my God, I'm pitching to this guy? And without any hesitation, he goes, Derek Jeter. He goes, it was the first batter I'm facing. I grew up, I'm watching Jeter, and I look up, and all of a sudden there's Jeter looking back at me. And I thought that has to be such a cool thing to experience for a young kid.
Well, that's the thing. You have to remember, all of the guys that play ball, they're fans as little kids first. Well, nobody thinks when you're a little guy that, hey, I'm going to play in the big leagues. You're a fan of the game. You watch the game. You're following players. And then to find yourself on the field with these guys that you grew up idolizing or following, and it's a surreal moment.
Maybe those guys one day will be playing. The 2-1. Ground ball, second base. Kendrick charging. And that'll do it here in the 7th. They strand a leadoff double. No runs on one hit, one man left on. Stretch them out here in Anaheim. 9-0 Angels. Today's game presented by Chevrolet is sponsored by ADT Security Services, always there, and by Scott's, the official lawn care company of Major League Baseball. Bottom half of the 7th here in Anaheim. 9-0. Angels give the Tigers all the scoring from the first inning. Matt Tuiaso-Sopo comes in to play first base, replacing Prince Fielder, and Ramon Santiago replaces Miguel Cabrera at third, and Josh Hamilton leads off here against Drew Smyly. And Hamilton fouls the first one off. No balls and one strike. Hamilton still looking for his first hit of the day. And he is the only player in the lineup for the Angels not to have a hit. No balls and two strikes. Hamilton reached base back in the first, and a walk scored on the 2-run single by Howie Kendrick. Since he's flown out and struck out. Smiley's 0-2. Slider on the outside corner, looking at strikeout number 7 for Drew Smyly. It's a big night of UFC action tonight in San Jose. With a preview, here's Kurt Menefee.
Sunny San Jose, California, the site of our loaded Fox UFC Saturday card later tonight. It's headlined by a champion versus champion main event as Benson Henderson puts his title on the line and welcomes Gilbert Melendez to the UFC. It's Fox UFC Saturday tonight, 8 Eastern, only on Fox.
And the first pitch to Trumbo is taken for a ball. Trumbo 1 for 3. RBI single and a run scored back in the first. Going back to what you were saying in the last half inning, with Richards on the mound and kids being, you grow up as a fan and then you get to the big leagues. What was your moment? Who was the player that, whether they're on first base or you're facing in the batter's box, where all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm playing Major League Baseball?
It really wasn't a player for me. It was Tommy Lasorda. And the reason I say that is a kid growing up in San Diego. My dad was a huge Dodger fan, and we'd see Dodger games. And this guy came up and was coaching third base and would be flopping on the ground telling a guy to slide into third. That was Tommy Lasorda. So then again, when I make it to the big leagues, I'm with the Dodgers, and here he is. This guy flopping around on the ground is now my manager. That's a beverage down right there. Beverage down.
2 balls, 2 strikes, the count here.
He ends up with it. Yeah, he ends up with the ball. There, guy. There's your third beach ball. Some make it onto the field. Some just need a hug.
Two-2, line back up the middle, a 1-out single for Trumbo.
Number 47, second baseman, Howard.
Jim Leland is coming out. We're going to have a pitching change here in the 7th. 9-0, Angels on top. Tigers is Brian Villarreal, the right-hander, replacing Drew Smiley. He'll come in to face Howie Kendrick with 1 out and a runner on at first base. Villarreal 0-2 this year in 6 games. The ERA, that'll come down.
Well, the thing about his struggles this year, the 7 walks. And that's something that right now you're coming into a game, it's a 9-0 game. You don't have to be fine. But what you do need to do is throw strikes. Get something out of this appearance.
Howie Kendrick, a 2-run single back in the first. First pitch swinging. 95-mile-per-hour fastball's fouled away. Drew Smiley, high five from Justin Verlander. Drew Smiley, you know what? He did his job. He came in and he kept his team at a deficit of 9.
No, what he did do is he saved his bullpen. I mean, he allows the Tigers now to go really with a full complement tomorrow.
Ground ball, Villarreal to second where Peralta is, over to first, and that's a 1-6-3 inning ending double play. No runs on 1 hit, nobody left on. We're through 7, 9-0 Angels. Sympathies to everyone affected by this week's tragic events. Support onefundboston.org as they help those affected by the recent tragedy. Top of the 8th here in Anaheim, 9-0. The Angels leading the Tigers, all 9 runs coming in that first inning. The Tigers only 2 hits through 7 innings against the starter, Garrett Richards. Richards goes out, coming in, Michael Roth. The rookie has appeared in 2 games on the season. A 1-0 record, a 2.25 ERA. Drafted out of the University of South Carolina, a new right fielder in the game, J.B. Shuck, and also a new shortstop, Andrew Romine. Johnny Peralta will lead things off here against Michael Roth. Michael Roth, not a hard-throwing left-hander, but a guy who knows how to pitch. Peralta 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts to short. And grounds one through the hole. A 3rd hit of the game for Peralta for the Tigers. And it's a leadoff single. Let's go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios for a game break.
Justin, Marlins and Reds, bottom of the 13th. Miami walks Joey Votto. Runners at the corners for Brandon Phillips, who on his bobblehead day hits a game-winning sac fly for his major league leading 20th RBI of the season. Unrelated note, Eric Karros' bobblehead day coming up later this summer at Dodger Stadium, featuring human-like hair. Back to you guys.
Yes. What day is that? We should all go there.
I'm shocked that it's taken 3 weeks for Vasgersian to start getting on me. I knew it was inevitable.
Now, let me ask this question. As far as the hair is concerned, is it the hair today or the hair that you had while you were playing?
No, probably while I was playing. And that hair while I was playing is taller than Vasgersian. So. Take that, Matty. Doing a great job back in the studio for us.
No balls, 1 strike to Alex Avila. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Michael Roth, a great story. Won 2 national championships with the University of South Carolina. Again, not a hard throw, but somebody who knows how to pitch, learned how to pitch at a very young age. Gets a feel of a swing over the top of a fastball. And now he gets called up in his first year in really pro ball. And Mike Scioscia talked very highly of him this past week. The 1-2. Frisbee slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, the idea of pitching is to expand the plate, to make the hitter swing at pitches that are not strikes. You have that aspect, and then you also are trying to disrupt his timing. There are various ways of going about it, and you don't have to have 95-mile-an-hour stuff.
Down low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And frankly, right now, he's throwing harder. I got to see him in college. He never would touch 92 on the radar gun. He was 87, 88, but he would sit more around 83 to 85.
Well, he matures a little bit, and then you're playing in front of a different crowd. It's the big leagues now.
3-2, hard hit to right field. Back-to-back base hits here for the Tigers. First and second, nobody out. Let's check back in with Ken.
Guys, just in case you're wondering, TORII Hunter, Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, they're all fine. The score is 9-0. Jim Leyland just wanted to get them off their feet. And I also wanted to tell you about Miguel Cabrera's 30th birthday celebration this week with his Venezuelan teammates Thursday night at the Anaheim home of Joaquin Benoit's aunt and uncle Rod and Rosie. The players were still talking about this yesterday. They feasted on Dominican food. Benoit is Dominican. It was goat, rice, avocado, and they also sang happy birthday to Cabrera both in English and in Spanish.
That's pretty cool.
30th birthday.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing for me. Seems like he's been around forever. He has.
Omar Infante fouls it back. No balls and 1 strike. The numbers that Cabrera has put up in the first 10 years of his career, you think about it, I mean, it's he and Albert Pujols, and the numbers are eerily similar.
Well, and you're talking about really a kid that came up as a shortstop. Then he played some third base, and he goes to first base, and he goes back to third base. As a star, he moves back to third base so the Tigers can sign Prince Fielder. Consummate team player.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. How similar are these two guys? Look at these numbers. Just take that in for a minute. And talking about Cabrera, he was looking at Prince Fielder during BP yesterday. I said, so you like having him hit behind you? He goes, I'd play catcher if it meant he was hitting behind me. Line drive to third. They get one that could potentially have been a triple play as Kendrick held on to it. A line out by Infante, and they turn a double play, getting Peralta off at second.
Well, Peralta has the lead. The ball's hit to third. He really doesn't have any opportunity to get back to second base. See Jimenez flipping it over. As you mentioned, Kendrick had an opportunity to throw to first.
Leading by 9, I take it. Yeah. There was 1 triple play turn this year already. That was by the Yankees against the Orioles. Jackson fouls it back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Three things you need to know about Austin Jackson. I didn't know they rated 12-year-olds.
No, that's what I was going to say. I want to know who was the best 9-year-old that year.
Swings to the changeup, 1 ball and 2 strikes. This guy's an athlete committed to Georgia Tech for both baseball and basketball. And he's a lover of dogs. Four dogs. It's impressive.
That's a lot of cleaning up.
It's a lot of walking.
That's a lot of cleaning up when you're walking.
And Roth gets him looking at strike 3. No runs on 2 hits, 1 left on. We're through 7.5. It's 9-zip Angels. Today's game is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And by the all-new 2014 Chevrolet Impala, which proudly supports the craft of baseball. And Sweet Caroline being played here at Angel Stadium. A tribute to those in Boston. A timeless song. Chris Ainetta to face Brian Villarreal. And the first pitch fastball at 97 in on the hands. Iannetta 1 for 3, a double. Grounded into a double play and grounded out to shortstop. Low and outside with the fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Breaking ball, and that's going to get Ainetta out of the way. 2 balls and a strike. By the way, in case you're wondering,
I am wondering.
Sweet Caroline is one of my 2 go-to songs for karaoke.
What about on what about on a date? What's your go-to song on a date?
Boys to Men, End of the Road.
Really, you could sing that karaoke, huh?
I didn't say I can. I said I
That's
do.
your go-to song.
Yes.
What's it? I hate it. What's the first one?
New York,
Delight?
New York,
Oh,
Frank
New York.
Sinatra.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see you doing that.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The count here to Iannetta, leading off the 8th inning.
If you told me something like you came out of Eminem, Lose Yourself or something.
I'm pretty good on that one too. Ooh, that one caught the free hand of Avila.
It's always what you want in a 9-0 game. Take a foul tip off a finger, get something off a knee, a foot.
A follow through on the head.
Yeah, not a fresh day.
Pop-up foul out of play. Stays 3-2. There's no doubt Brian Villarreal has a strong arm. Up to 97, 98 here in this game. And like you said before, it's all about controlling it.
Yeah, there's a ton of guys that have the physical tools to play at the big league level. But it's not just about being able to throw hard or hit a ball a mile. You've got to throw strikes. You've got to be able to react to certain situations.
3-2, fouled away again. No runs on 4 hits, no errors for the Tigers. 9 runs on 13 hits and no errors for the Angels. Another 3-2. Fastball missing up high. A leadoff walk issued here to IANNETTA. Starting Monday on the National Geographic Channel is the new series called Brain Games that will truly put your brain to the test. It's a roller coaster for your mind filled with challenges and games that will boggle and amaze you. It's Brain Games premiering this Monday on the National Geographic Channel, and those are your contestants. Just kidding.
That's not even a promo right there for a new show that we're running on Fox. That was just straight out horse heads.
J.B. Shuck now the batter. His first at-bat of the day. And he takes the fastball low and inside for ball 1.
Just out of curiosity, how are you walking out the door ready to go to an Angel game and say, wait, wait, guys, I forgot my horse head? I mean, where does that... You just got to wonder.
Well hit to right center field. Don Kelly lays backing him up, and it's a double for J.B. Shuck.
Both outfielders making an effort. You know, what is difficult is Austin Jackson doesn't play alongside Kelly very often. It's Torii Hunter out there. So the communication could get crossed. And again, right there, communication becomes very important because those guys, last thing you want to do is collide. Great effort, though, by Kelly.
And now Luis Jimenez steps to the plate. The infield is in with runners on at second and third. Is this one of those situations where you're not doing this because of this game, but you're doing this to get yourself ready as the season goes on?
As Allen Iverson said, you're doing it for practice. That's what this is, just practice, practicing a situation. Granted, you have 2 guys out there that aren't your everyday infielders.
And by the way, I think he said, we're talking about practice? Practice! Justin Kutcher alongside Eric Karros and Ken Rosenthal. Bottom of the 8th inning. 9-0, Angels leading. Second and third, nobody out. Luis Jimenez at the plate against Brian Villarreal. Good breaking ball. And there's a big strikeout for Villarreal. That's the 3rd strikeout of the day for Jimenez. 1 away, and now Peter BOURJOS. Peter BOURJOS 3 for 4 with 3 infield singles and 2 runs scored. And fouls the first one back. Are you ready for this? In the last 10 seasons for the Angels, they've only had a player have 3 infield hits twice in one game. Today, Peter BOURJOS, and the other, Albert Pujols.
Wow, I would have never have guessed that.
Last year against Oakland. I don't think anybody would have guessed that. 1 ball, 1 strike here to Bourjos.
Well, as a hitter right now, you've got to love this situation. You've got the infield in. You've got a couple of guys out there that you can drive in. You've already had a heck of a day as far as getting 3 infield hits. Probably lying out now.
Fell back out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Bourjos. Breaking ball misses up high, 2-2. The 2-2. Another slider, low and outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And if Bourjos can work a walk, that would bring up Mike Trout with the bases loaded for the 2nd time today. And Trout, in his first time with the bases loaded, hit a grand slam over the center field wall. 3-2. Foul back out of play. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow on your local Fox Sports Regional for the final game of this series. Coverage on Fox Sports Detroit starts at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Fox Sports West at noon Pacific. It is Pfister against Wilson tomorrow in the series finale. Another 3-2 in the air to left field. Dirks going over, and the warning track makes the catch. Tagging up from third base is Annetta. Sacrifice fly, and it's 10-0 Angels. The first run since the first inning, and since Mike Trout's grand slams, and 3 things you need to know about him. I like that. Slept in a uniform after T-ball games.
You got to remember those days playing Little League. You couldn't wait to put on your uniform.
Heck yeah.
Take it off. I mean, if you could wear that to school, you'd do it.
I think sometimes I did. Trout the opposite way. Kelly going back, and he has room. And that'll do it here in the 8th. But the Angels tack on another. It is 10-0. The Angels for the Tigers. Chevrolet, 9 runs in the first for the Angels, zeros all the way until the bottom of the 8th, and it's 10-0. The LA Angels of Anaheim lead Detroit. Couple of defensive changes. Tommy Field, who was just called up, will now play second base because Mark Lowe went on the DL. A new pitcher into the game. That's Michael Kahn, and he will face Don Kelly in Don Kelly's first at-bat of this game. Kelly fouls the first pitch into the seats on the third base side. Don Kelly, 3 things you need to know. We'll just give you one thing you need to know about him. His brother-in-law is Neil Walker.
I didn't know that. There's my one thing
That's
I need to know.
why you
There
need to
go.
know it.
You are good.
Kelly gets hit by the pitch. Did not offer on the swing, so he'll take first base. Now it's time for the King Plays of the game, brought to you by Burger King, where taste is king.
Well, for me today, it was all Garrett Richards. Came out and dominated this Detroit Tiger lineup. Granted, he had a 9-0 lead, but he still went out and attacked the hitters. No walks the entire game. Victor Rojas, a fine play-by-play man for these Angels, texted me and said, hey, this is the longest outing of the year for a starter. He's the only starter that has gone into the 7th inning for this Angel ball club. And Mike Scioscia told us during the interview, pitching is going to be the important thing that leads this club to the postseason.
Absolutely. Ramon Santiago with his first at-bat. You know, it's funny, we came on the air talking about how this was like an all-star game because of the players that we have in this game, where we talked about, you know, watching BP yesterday for this Angels team. You see Trout and Hamilton, Pujols, and you could throw in as far as power, Trumbo. Then you go for Detroit, and you've got Hunter and Cabrera and Fielder. Well, it's also like an all-star game because of all the changes we've had in this game.
Yeah. Mike Scioscia's obviously pleased. You know, coming out of the Minnesota road trip where they lost 2 games, they had another one postponed. You have 2 days of not playing. You've got this Tiger ball club, then you've got the Texas Rangers coming in. You know, and a lot of people are on the Angels because they want, you know, a 15 or 16-0 start, especially with all the moves. This has been big. They come out last night, beat Detroit. Detroit, one of the better teams in baseball. Today they make a statement.
3 balls and 2 strikes. The count here to Santiago. And Santiago, a little broken bat flare to first base. Trumbo makes the catch, and Kelly goes back to first. 1 away now. And it's Matt Tuiasosopo to hit. That's the one thing when you look at this Angels team with the moves they've made. It's so hard to live up to the expectations when you have a lineup that features Pujols and then Hamilton. Everyone thinks, well, you got to win. And if you don't win, people start saying, well, what's wrong with you? And if you do win, they say, well, of course you win. You're supposed to win.
I think the only thing you can ask of an organization, if you're a fan, is to put a competitive product out there and hope that you are playing meaningful games in September. You get to the postseason, it's the hottest team that wins. It's not necessarily the best team that wins a World Series. In fact, I'd argue it's not the best team that wins a World Series. It's the hottest team.
That's exactly true. And is that because we now have so many rounds in the postseason?
Well, you have so many rounds, but you want to go back 50 or 60 years ago. You had 1 team from the American League, 1 team from the National League. So theoretically, the best team did win the World Series. Well, now you have so many different ways you can get in. You've got 5 teams now from each league. I like it. I think it's great for baseball. It creates more opportunity, but I don't think you can say this team is the best team in X year because they won the World Series.
Ken, what do you think?
Well, obviously that's right, and we've seen that. Billy Beane has said the playoffs are a crapshoot. But one more thing about the Angels' start, guys. The reason it was so disappointing is because they started 6-14 last year, and they were determined for the same thing not to happen again, and that's why the tension rose so quickly.
Tuiasa Sopo goes down swinging 2 away here in the 9th. The producer of today's game is Jeff Gowan. The director is Jim Lynch. The associate director is Eric Billigmeyer. And the associate producer is Andy Kavanaugh. Our technical producer is Dan Rotante, and the technical director is Simon Benazra. The pregame show is produced by Ethan Kleinberg and directed by Mark Deaver. The coordinating producer is Mike Connor, and our statistician is Scott Lightman. 2 away here in the 9th, and Victor Martinez at the plate. The fastball misses outside for ball 1. The Tigers came into this game 9-7. The Angels came in at 5-10. Martinez down the right field line. On the run, making a sliding catch, J.B. Shuck. And that's the way to end the ball game.
Well, the Angels did it all day long. They came out, they exploded, they played good defense. They get some guys in there that don't get a lot of time. They're excited to be out there. They're going to go hard till the very end. Big win for the Angels today. They've created some momentum.
The Angels take it 10-0. They take the first 2 games of this series. Last night 8-1. Today 10-0. For Eric Karros, Ken Rosenthal, and our entire crew, I am Justin Kutcher saying so long. Now let's go to Matt Vasgersian at the MLB Network studios.